Hello everyone, welcome to week 4 with Todd und Verkelang and our last week with Death and Transfiguration. 2 weeks ago, we talked a lot about motives, specifically this one. And how Strauss used that motive really well to give our ear something to latch on to, right? And it helped us follow it throughout the piece so we could, it gained coherency. And we also talked about how that motive, every time he used it, had a little bit of a different character, right? And by doing so, he kind of showed us an evolution. Yeah, it was happy, and then it was sad, and then it was excited, and then it was triumphant. And that tells us something about the piece, what happens throughout the piece. This week, I want to take that a step further and talk about what I consider a huge part of romantic music, and that is using a motive like this. In this case, it's going to be a pretty long one, and changing it so much that it's a completely different thing. Yeah, that it tells a story that way, and it's going to really help us figure out what this piece is all about. So, the motive that I'm talking about now, it's more of like a real melody. I would call it a chorale, but you'll recognize it, I promise. And this is the loud one. Right? I hope you recognize it. That could have been one of your favorite moments that you listened through, the first time. That section was from our week 3 selection. Now, there's one important part of it that I want to talk about. It's the very last bit, the part that goes like this. That chord right there, listen to that. Just 4 notes. Chord is just a whole bunch of notes played together. Boom, there it is. Really tense, right? Especially when you put it on top of this. Beautiful, but it's really tense. So, it's really important what he does after that. And this is what he does after it. Listen really carefully. He's used this material before. And that is from the very beginning of the piece. That kind of deep, mysterious, kind of scary. So what happens is he takes that last chord, which was this one, from the chorale, and then he just unravels it. Right? So something, that big chorale, a huge triumphant chorale, this beautiful thing. You could feel it trying to go somewhere, trying to bring us into a new world of positivity, I guess. But it gets thwarted by whatever this is. And he ends up going all the way back to the really, really dark stuff. Right? But he does it again. He does it a few times. I think he does it 5 or 6 times throughout the whole piece. But towards the end, and you're listening for this week, he does it again in a different key. And the first thing you notice is it's much quieter, so it's much calmer and more relaxed. But I'm gonna play it for you, and it's exactly the same up until a point. And I'll point that out for you. So here we go. Still the same. Still the same. Here's that tense chord we talked about before. Now, if he did the same thing that he did before, it would be something like this. And it would end in some place, a scary place, right? But instead, he takes that same chord, right here, and tense chord, and he goes here. And he just plays. So finally, it feels like that chorale, that whole thing, actually succeeded in getting to that place of positivity. Yeah? So for comparison's sake, I'm going to play both of them basically right next to each other. I was going to find the right one here, guys. Sorry. So we can hear it right next to each other. Okay. Here's the first one again. Loud. Eventually, deep, dark, scary place. Second time. Goes on and on and on in that same really easy feel. So to me, what that tells me about this piece is that something really significant happened. That he has this motive, that it's trying to go somewhere positive. And at first, he can't get there. But eventually he can. So what happened in between that piece and what that resolution at the end means to you is for you and you alone. But it really helps us figure out what the piece is about. So listen for those two, but listen to all the other times that happens as well. I think it'll give you a much clearer idea of what Strauss is trying to get across. Thanks for joining us for this Score Club, and stay with us for next time.